Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys and girls, and look at the time. It is 12:35 by this clock. This clock is about 10 minutes past. It's really about 10:25. As you see, if we walk over this clock, this one says 12:30. My real time, internet time, is closer to 12:25. This is all the cannabis I have left, less even than I had thought. I went and got rid of all the crumbs and stuff that you can't really smoke in a pipe, and that leaves only that. Which means tomorrow morning, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because without this stuff, I'm screwed. And I've got to smoke tonight, whether or not I go out on my walk. And I've got to go out on my walk. My legs hurt so much. I mean, even taking cannabis and methadone, if I don't exercise, my legs hurt so bad, it's not even funny. So, I know my place is a pigsty, but largely it's what's known as organized chaos. And organized chaos, of course, is simply a mess. Not a mess, not disgusting and horrible, but not in piles of garbage. But what I do is I just have stacks of things in places because, well, let's see if there's any spiders on here. I'd be surprised, really, if there were too many because it's been raining like the devil all day. Okay, no spiders. Oh, the hook just fell right out of the wall here. The gate. But then it does that all the time. This thing is a pain. I have to always screw it back in and falls out and falls on the floor again. I'll screw it for right now. It's still there. I'll pick it up when I come back. As long as the dogs can't get in. Okay, let's get more of the quiet outside walking voice. I just wanted to talk about this, that, and the other as we go about. Because, hey, this, that, and the other is always fun to talk about. It has been gray and terrible for ages. You can't see the stars, I'm quite sure, nor can I see the moon, unfortunately. But it's clear. I can see the stars, though the camera isn't good enough to really get them. That's okay, though. Let's get more of the nighttime ASMR votes. It is quite cold now because it's finally, winter. Now that we're in, well, not winter, fall. Now that we're in October. It used to be that September 1st it got cold. Now it doesn't do that until October. Gotta love that. Oh, I need to button up my sleeve on my arm thing. Not arm thing, actual arm. Oh, where's that button? It's hard to do with my right hand because my right hand just does not work well at all. It's clumsy and... Why did I turn off my flashlight to do that? Weird. I turned off my flashlight so that my hand would work better. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Now how am I going to get the other hand? Well, I don't know if I can do this because I've got a loop from the camera around my left wrist. So if I transfer it to my right hand, the camera, the loop will still be around my left wrist, thus really cutting down on my mobility. Yeah, let's give it a shot. I gotta put my flashlight underneath my left arm, grab the camera with the right arm, turn the loop, and then try to move my... there we go. Access to the buttons. And then things feel much better because, luckily for me, there we go. In fact, that worked so well with my left hand because I've always been, my entire life, roughly ambidextrous. I have made it a point my entire life to push and do things with my left hand. And of course, you know, you can train yourself to do things, but if you're not naturally left-handed, using your left hand is still going to be clumsy. Well, luckily for me, on the spectrum of left-handed to right-handed, you know, at +5 you're left-handed, well, let's make that -5 you're left-handed, and +5 you're right-handed, and at 0, you know, you're completely 100% ambidextrous. You know, no dominance on either side. Well, I'm not that way. I am primarily right-handed, or I was. But then I was about a +1 on the ambidextrous scale, where I could do everything with my left hand except write quickly or sign my name. I can write with my left hand, can't write quickly. I've never practiced that seriously. If I could sit down and write a sentence every 5 or 6 years, then I went, good. Well, now, of course, it's a good thing I've done that because my right hand is so freaking clumsy. Oh, that light just went out on its own. Isn't that special? The lights in town just suck. Now I'm going down to the post office, and then from there, who knows? I might walk partly up to, oh gosh, what is that? Up the hill that I walked the other day. I might, I don't know. Depends on how warm, cold, comfortable, uncomfortable I am. I don't want to be out here all night. But on the other hand, boy, being able to walk, my legs are like this. Not being able to walk, it's been so painful. My legs have just been aching and just under the level of actual anxiety. So things have not been fun. I washed down some meds with both Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper. 2 bits of liquid candy. How much sugar are we supposed to eat in a day? Well, with those 10 or so swallows of those 2 types of soda, that's probably my 2 days worth of sugar there. We regularly, in our American diet, eat so much sugar, it's ridiculous, it's frightening, because sugar is, they did a study 100 some odd years ago. The sugar people tried to say, you know what, just feed sugar to your animals instead of feed, and that'll be fine. And so they fed sugar to farm animals instead of feed. And every single one of them died. And so sugar is something that kills. And we just pour it into our food at a frightening rate and a frightening amount. But what are you going to do? I mean, we're human, which isn't always a good thing. I mean, we've passed the tipping point / milestone now of the 400 parts per million with atmospheric carbon. Things are going to be a mess, and not too long either. I mean, there's barely any ice left on the ice caps. They're mostly just, well, not even ice caps anymore. They're just the poles. I think the Arctic is still mostly there, but the Antarctic is mostly gone. all of that ice. Problem is, of course, either direction you go, too cold or too hot, either extreme, the end result is always the same: ice. All we have to do is raise the albedo of the planet high enough that we start reflecting more heat than we take in because of all of the atmospheric carbon and cloud cover. All we have to do is start reflecting just a little too much heat, and then it starts to snow again on the cloud cover as it reflects more heat, and then the snow reflects heat, and then it gets colder and snows more, which reflects more heat, and it just goes downhill from there. I am at 11 minutes on this file, so I am going to call this file because it is so much easier to edit a whole bunch of small files than one big one, so I'll be right back. I just hope that walking at night with my camera out like this, that some tweaker doesn't see it and decide that it's worth some money, and then decide to hurt me badly and take it. Because this thing, it ain't worth anything. I mean, if you if you stole it in a store, or maybe bought it for the $60. Yeah. Oh, the light just popped on. Maybe immediately you'd be able to sell it, but you'd buy it for $60 and you'd be able to sell it for maybe $30. You'd be losing money. Got so much saliva in my face because of my bloody dentures. I have got to make an appointment with my denturist. I also need to smoke more cannabis, but I don't really have any cannabis to spare. Shucks. That's what makes it so sad. I just don't know what I'm gonna do. I really don't know what I'm gonna do. And I'm actually in better shape this way. I was reading, and I read cracked.com a lot. I think that it is a most excellent site. They write things, for laughs, and they try to make you laugh and smile, but at the same time, they cover subjects that are not funny, that are very, very serious. And one of them they were covering is that there is a substance called kratom. It's another one of those herbal things. And here comes cars, and it's loud. And here comes another car. Oh goody, it's going that way. But it's a plant, and apparently it's called like kratom. And there are people out there where, for whatever reason, they're in states where cannabis is not legal. But they are in the boat that I was in, where, Percocet, all other opiates, all other painkillers, they had to take a lot of them to be able to even function. And by the time you take that much to function, you can't really function because you're on a lot of opiates. And so it's a really unpleasant circle. And these people found that the herbal thing, kratom, I guess that's a brand name, I don't know, but that plant works as well for them as cannabis works for me. And so they're able to smoke this plant, and they're off opiates. And it's the only thing that has given them their life back. Now, I can't remember if it was October 30th or September 30th, but for whatever reason, with nobody having had any problems with kratom, nobody had been hospitalized or anything like that, or killed, but it has been declared illegal to take and keep for any reason for the next couple years, during which time it's supposed to be studied by those people in the government, at which point in time they're supposed to make a true decision on it at that point. But does anyone honestly believe that it's going to go anywhere past the point of banning? They ban all these things all the time. Nobody studies them. There's no incentive for them to study it. Nobody inside the government is going to get money from the government to study this stuff. And nobody outside the government is going to get grant money from the government to study it. It's dead-ended right there. Bang. It's just declared illegal and they're hosed. Now what would I do? It would be like all of a sudden if cannabis was recriminalized in Washington State. Because if cannabis was recriminalized in Washington State, not just for recreational users, but for medical users as well, then that would be quite simply the end of my life. I would not have a life left. I would be in so much pain within 30 days. I would be a bedridden ward of the state, and boy, I do not want that. I was nearly at that stage when I was trying to take care of my wife. It was not pretty. Well, here we go. Getting closer. I'm going to turn off my flashlight now that I'm this far because there's so much external light. First, we're going to hit the post office, of course. I've been able to go there in days. I literally have no idea what's waiting for me there. I've got a side pocket that I can put my flashlight into, but it hangs in the pocket in just a way that the end of it, the head, is right where my arm would swing. So I gotta just continue carrying it, because otherwise, well, hey, it hangs down here and I go whack, whack, whack up against it with my arm. Don't want to do that. It's annoying. It is dark and cold. If I rushed, I could probably still make it over to Safeway, because they close at 1 a.m. Except that, you know what? I don't want to do that. I left all my money at home. Because stuff is heavy to carry. Oh my gosh. I've made the mistake of buying like 2 handfuls, 2 bags worth of groceries, and having to carry them down to the post office, and then from there back up to the home. And oh my God, that was a terrible walk. Very painful. Anything that's slightly heavy, by the time you walk, 3 miles with it, it's very, very heavy indeed. I am so sorry about all the saliva in my face. It is so hard to talk clearly. I should have glued my plate down. But I don't know where all this extra saliva is coming from either. It's very frustrating. Yep, I crossed right over that thing without even pressing the yellow lights are flashing button. The weird thing is, that one just says yellow lights are flashing. The ones down here on the end of the block have full instructions, and they actually say the name of the street. But I think that is because it's right near the bars. Oh, and here comes somebody, so I'm going to close this up until afterwards. So you take care, and I'll be back with you.